It is so important. So few people have someone they could call when they feel anxious, or even do call. Even if you have someone to call, it's actually calling, and it's getting out of your head and getting out of yourself. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much the type of person, when I'm feeling down, I go inward big time. I stop communicating, and the toughest thing for me, it's almost funny, the easiest thing for me to do when I'm feeling up is to reach out.
Yeah.
The toughest thing for me to do when I'm feeling down is to reach out.
A lot of people are like that.
That's really common. I think it's also part of like when we keep saying the enemy, like he wants to isolate you when you're down.
Isolate, yeah.
You know, it's part of that is, I think, spiritual too.
Like, how do
Human
you get
beings.
relief? Like when you're having a hard time, because you're up. Like most of the time, I would say that you're up. And
I'm an
you're,
up person,
You
yeah.
you're very blessed to already have that disposition. Like that's easy for you. A lot of people, it's not. But you live there. But when you go down, how do you get relief?
How do I get relief? You know what I learned? This might sound crazy because it's probably the opposite of just having an answer to it. I learned, at least for me, I don't know about other people, that a lot of it is riding the wave. And it's something I've fought for many years. You know, when you're out there surfing, I don't surf, but I've heard this many times. You can't fight that big wave, right? All you could do is ride it really well, like go with it. And for me, I've discovered over time that the best thing I could do when feeling down is a few things, like you were saying, is acknowledge, come to terms with, really just admit, okay, here's how I'm feeling. And unless you do that, there's no real way out. There's only like, this sucks. So I've learned over time that feeling down or being down is just as part of life as being up. It's part of the rhythm.
Yes.
And the problem really begins when the period of time that you're down gets a little too extended. That's when we start entering into, is this person suffering from depression or whatever? So it's really the period of time. But just being down and having down times or days, completely normal. So, but not to dodge your question, but I don't know if I have a way specifically that I get out of it, as much as I've learned to effectively come to terms with it and ride that wave and just be in it and realize that I'm just as much as myself through it as I was yesterday when I was up, and I'm just as much, and life hasn't changed around me. It's all in my head, and everything's the same.
Well, for someone who
good.
schedules their life so much like you do, right? Does being down look like taking time away from that, or are you still going through all the motions and you're just feeling it inside, like
100%.
down?
Oh yeah.
So you don't like retreat.
No, my life goes on. Yeah. You know, when I say retreat, I mean someone will call me and I won't answer.
Yeah.
As opposed to when they're calling me on an up day, I'll pick the phone up and talk.
But you'll still go and like do everything in your life like normal, like nothing's
100%.
wrong. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I would never. Yeah. I guess
you would never like cancel
stuff. Yeah.
So then you're not really isolated.
No, this is. I guess it comes down to like a thing where it really plays out for me is my phone, specifically with talking, not texting. That's really where I could see the contrast. So when I'm on my up, very easy time. I love talking. You know, someone calls, I answer. It's interesting how that's an area where the contrast is really big for me, because texting is similar. Like I could do that all the time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to talking on the phone, like if I'm in my zone and if I'm in my head and I'm just like in my head, then I would have a more difficult time calling someone or answering the phone and talking.
Interesting.
That's really where that plays out. Yeah.
Well, I think probably going through the motions of your life helps you to be more resilient through that. And that's interesting because a lot of people can't.
Can't do what?
Continue. Like they have to step back. They have to cancel and take time away, and they retreat. And like what they do when they retreat may be helpful or not, but a lot of people are not able to push through. But you're also like one of the most driven people I've ever met. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, look at this, your hobby. Get out of here. My hobby is in like a plastic tub in my room. Like I'll get to it someday. This is a full production. That's incredible.